Ramirez again. Your quick assessment of the fight, Ramirez's performance, and what do you think about everything, the card in total?
I thought Ramirez was tremendous. He had a great game plan. He's working really hand in glove with his trainer, Robert Garcia, who's had a great impact on him. I think you've beginning to see the best of Jose. It was a terrific fight. All props to Hooker. He's a really great boxer, a fine young man. One guy has to win, one loses in a sport like boxing. But Hooker's going to be back, and I thought it was a great night. The card itself was interesting. There were some good fights, some not so good. But that's always the case when you do a big fight card like this.
Your assessment of Tevin?
Kevin, I thought, showed a lot of skills, which he has, but I thought that there were times when he should have put his foot on the pedal more than he did, and I think he would have blown this guy out. You know, it's okay to win the fight the way he did, Kevin, and he clearly won the fight, but I think you could win it and give the fans a little bit more.
Well, you got another champion in the same weight division as Tevin.
Two.
You got two champions in the same weight division as Tevin. Is there a possibility that we can get a unification very soon?
Well, yeah. I mean, Herring, the Fighting Marine, who just won the title, has a mandatory on Veterans Day, which is going to be on ESPN, and certainly after that, we would be very interested in a fight with Farmer. And then they have Burchelt, who's the BC champion, and I think he's going to fight somebody else. I think they matched him. But after that, he would look forward. That would be a tremendous fight because Burchelt is a real Mexican warrior, puts pressure on. Farmer's a great boxer, and he's not going to be able to hold Burchelt off the same way that he could hold the Frenchman off. I mean, that's not to say he can't win the fight. He can very well win the fight, but it's a different kind of fight, a much more entertaining fight. Burchelt against Farmer.
Now, Teofimo Lopez, are we grading him too high, too soon for the top guy like Vasily that you have, and where does he go from here? Obviously, the IBF, he's the number one contender for the IBF. When is that taking place?
Well, I have to sit down with him when I'll be back in Vegas this week, and I talked to him. He said that maybe he's not ready for that step because he's having some personal problems, you know, whatever they are. I'd rather not go into them.
Yep.
And until I get those personal problems solved, really he is in no shape to fight a guy like Comey.
So what happens to his position with the IBF? Does he keep it, or what happens from there?
Well, then he could. I mean, he's the mandatory, but he doesn't have to do the fight. And then we would ask the IBF, assuming Lomachenko beats Campbell, to allow that Lomachenko and Comey to fight for that fourth title.
Wouldn't Lomachenko have also have another guy that he has to fight after that Luke Campbell fight?
No.
Does he have a mandatory after that?
No, he doesn't.
Okay, so he wouldn't have a mandatory.
No.
Shifting gears a little bit now, obviously the big talk in boxing right now is the PED thing going on, and what's your assessment of that? And
well, it's terrible. I mean, PEDs put the opponent in danger. It has to be stopped. And I thought that the British Board of Boxing Control, whatever they call themselves, did the wrong thing, not necessarily letting the fight go on, but not letting the other side know. I mean, that's horrible. How can you do that? I mean, in New York, when Morales tested positive and said it was from meat, they had a hearing. They had Garcia and his family there, and they elected to go ahead with the fight.
always a pleasure to talk to you,
Thank
Bob.
you.
Good to see you, man.